All right, everybody, 7 o'clock on the nose. Welcome to the Beth Tefillah Day Camp's second annual parent webinar. Last year, we started it. It was a lot different last year. We had it for a lot different reasons. And then coming into this year, we figured, why not? It's very important for parents to know what's going on and to feel confident about what's going to be in place for the summer. My name is Sam Bloom. I'm the camp director at BT Camps. This is my third year, second summer, and that will always be my claim to fame, is that my first summer we had family camp, and we got ourselves ready to go for our first summer last summer, and it was a lot of fun. Kids had a great time, staff had a great time, learned an incredible amount, and we are moving forward with so many great things for the upcoming summer. A couple of things that we want to tell you before we get started. If you have questions, put your questions in the chat, not in the Q&A. There are several people, you'll hear about this in a second, there are several people who are answering those questions. And it needs to go into the chat. Everybody will be able to see it. It's fine. They're all good questions. And of course, if you have any private, personal questions and you'd like to do that offline, you can email us anytime. We'll talk about that as well in a little bit. And also, when you put the questions in the chat, you'll also select everyone in the drop-down menu. Everyone in the drop-down menu, and that'll get your questions out. And again, we'll go over this in a second. A couple pictures there from last summer. It's a great place to be. A lot of parents tell me they haven't been to BT Camps. Their kids have been there for years. If you haven't been there, if you want to see it, give us a call. We're at camp every day. We can give tours. There's a couple people who are already saying, no, he didn't just say that. But I don't think everybody is going to come in and look for a tour. But if it's something that you really need to do and you want to see the camp, especially if it's your first summer, then give us a call and we'll work that out. So I want to first welcome many people who are on the call right now. You're not going to see them. They're not going to see you. But this is our leadership staff for the summer, the people whose hands you're putting your children into. And I will say this many times. Obviously, the kids' experience is number one when all is said and done. And, while director and assistant director and program director and then counselor, unit heads and then counselors and all that kind of stuff, well, it's really flipped around. It's really counselors are first, unit heads, and so on. The counselors and the unit heads specifically and the department heads are the folks that are dealing with your children on a daily basis. So here are the folks that a lot of them, I believe, are on the call. Everybody has two names except Coach Jen Postal. That's three names, but I think everybody knows her as Coach Jen Postal. And you can see a lot of leadership and experience. And what I would say is we are very lucky to have a continuous support of staff that have been in place at BT Camps for anywhere from 3 or 4 years all the way up to 40, 51. Larry Brash is at 51, and everybody in between. So you get to see a lot of the folks who will be working at BT Camps this summer. We will spend more time talking to you about these folks, and these are many of the people that will be in touch with you during the summer. Specifically, while unit heads and department heads are all the same at the same level, when we deal with the children on a daily basis, we deal with the unit heads and the counselors, and we deal with the unit heads specifically. And you can see that we have a great listing of unit heads in place, people who have been at camp for many years. And then when you look at the department heads, you see also folks that have been around for many, many years. So we're real proud of this group. You can reach out, say hello to them, and as we get moving along during the spring season, you'll hear more about them. And if you have any questions about them, you can reach out, let me know. So the questions tonight are being answered by myself. Very little of the questions, if any, will be answered by me early, meaning before 8 p.m. Rachel, Emily, and Bryna are all online right now, and they are answering questions. If you throw those into the chat, you'll get your questions answered in the order that they come in. And some may be held off until the end because they are lengthier, and we're going to try to get as many of the quicker questions out, and the lengthy questions that need a little bit more time, we will answer them though. So please don't fret that if your question hasn't been answered by 8 p.m. that it won't be answered. Every question will be answered. And if you have any questions related to activities or staffing specifically, those would be best to send directly to me, and I can answer those later on or first thing in the morning. Not that they're any less important, but they are less important than some of the things that we're talking about right now, which is really the logistics and health and safety and all the things that, you know, in April, early May, you need to be thinking about. But then after 7:50, please don't send any more questions in the chat. And then if you have any later on tonight or tomorrow, you can send those off. This is also being recorded, and we will send this out to everybody at some point tomorrow or Wednesday. So here we go. We're talking about some of the new things that we have at camp, and we've been talking about these since September. So really, if you've read the emails, and I know that it's hard to read every email that we send, let alone everybody else sends, but if you've read them all, you know, and if not, this will be your opportunity. The first and probably biggest piece is going to be the BT app, which really isn't new. If you were at camp in 2019, that we had the BT app, similar to what we have now, but we've strengthened it and put in even more features, so parents can use it as a tool to find out what's going on. And I'll be honest, there's a part of that will eliminate phone calls and emails on a daily basis. And that needs to happen everywhere. There's a lot of camps that are doing this now. We're a little bit further ahead than some of the other camps, I think, with regards to actually having an app. We worked with the camp out of New York, a private camp out of New York, to learn some things. So it's custom built from a company that we've been working with for years. And this is what you need to know. You're going to receive camper updates and message notifications from counselors, unit heads, and camper care staff, all on your phone. You'll be able to review program updates, weather updates, and more. And you can read the rest. You don't need me to read everything, but this will be an opportunity for you to download it on your phone and then get your notifications. You'll have to probably set it to make sure that you get your notifications right away. And of course, anything that's very important, specific to your child, we'll call you. We'll call you, we'll email you, whatever. That system will still be in place. But this will really take care of a lot of policies and procedures and systems that we have in place. And we'll learn as we go. So while we may not be doing things in the first week, that will change up and do things in the 5th and 6th week and so on and so forth, we'll be learning as we go. With regards to the communication from counselors, unit heads, and camper care staff, one of your questions may be, will I be hearing from my kid's counselor? And yes and no. And we will be able to review this in more detail. Every piece of information that you get about your kid's group or your child specifically will be coming from your counselor. However, your child's counselor. However, a lot of the information will be typed, texted, inputted, if you will, by unit heads who have a little bit more time, and camper care staff who have a little bit more time input into our app. And here's why: because the counselors are responsible with the kids on a daily basis, every second, and not sitting on their phone communicating with parents. But the communication will be sent through the counselor as to what's going on, and here's the schedule, and so on and so forth. And then it will be moved through the app and into your inbox. And it will be specific. In Aleph, bunk A for whatever bunk Levon, and all of our bunks are basically staying the same names as they were last year. You will be signed in for just that bunk. You won't be receiving anybody else's bunk information. You'll be reminded of spirit days and special events, and then any access of bus information and any updates. A lot more information will be coming on that, including how to use the app. That will be coming probably in the middle of May, middle towards the end of May, and that still gives us 3 or 4 weeks to go before we start camp. So we'll probably send out some information on that. And here are some of the things that you'll see, just to see that it's real. We're not just talking. You'll see this is what it will look like with the units: Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. There should be a Vav in there. There will be a Vav in senior camp, and so on and so forth. Oh, Vav is down at the bottom. I mean, our guys know the alphabet. Okay. There'll be a photo gallery as well. And this is where the photos will be this year rather than where we had them last year. Everything will be coordinated in our app. Updates and news, as we talked about, special days and activities. It's endless. And notifications you see in the second piece down, second piece down below, you'll see how you would get a notification. And you'll be able to send us notes. And I'll say this now, and I'll say it again later. If you're looking to get to me directly, it's always going to be easier to email. And it may be just as quick to email some of the folks in the office, Rachel, Bryna, Emily, rather than going through the app. But we'll be explaining that in more detail. The next updates are around camp. We are repainting the arts and pottery and LT buildings down below, all 3 buildings straight across. We scraped them and we're repainting all of them. They're going to look great. Hadn't been done in a while and it was necessary. And then while we were at it, we went inside and we renovated, including insulated the ceiling and the rafters, so the temperature can go from a balmy 92 to a nice and comfortable 80, maybe. I know Tracy's listening probably, so 80 is definitely, it's going to be cold. Could even be in the 70s. We also updated and with some maintenance on our playground that needed a couple of wooden boards that needed to be fixed, just something important. And then our biggest adds are our water mats and our corkles at the lake. And you're like, what? So there you go. Those are the water mats and those are the corkles. And we got 3 of the water mats and 3 of the corkles. And no, it's not enough for everybody, but it's going to be an addition to what we already have at the lake, which was a nice amount. But we're starting to add to some of our activities to say, hey, listen, there's more activities out there. And while BT has stood strong for what we have had with our activities for years, there's more fun out there than ever before. So we have added these to our repertoire of activities. Those should be a lot of fun. The corkles are different colors, and the water mats are all blue. This will not be happening. The 3 people in the middle, that does not look good. I don't know why that's their picture, but that was the one that I found. So I put it on there. That will not be happening. But nice lifeguarding with the guy on the right. A few more things that we've talked about: weekly special programming. You can check out our website where you will find our updated calendar. And we've had this calendar out since November or December, and it's not changing. Maybe 1 or 2 changes, but that's it. And those would only be because of scheduling. Everything should be in there ready to go. So you'll be able to see what your kids, little dress up days and carnival and not color war, sorry. And a few other things that we're bringing back. We're bringing back some fun Fridays with some special events on Fridays, separate from Shabbat. So good things there. Our swim program, we have 15 staff hired, and we continue to update our swim program with enhanced instructional swim experience. And you'll see more of that as we get ready to go for the summer. And then a real big piece that we're adding, Life 360, School Pass, and School Bus Manager. So 2 of those 3 were in place last year for some people. Life 360, some of you were able to access that for those buses that had bus routes that were having some difficulty. We sent that to you so you could see where your bus was. And everybody will be able to log into that to see where your bus is. And you'll be able to time the arrival and departure of your child. We'll get that to everybody. School Bus Manager was the other one that was in place last year. That's the software that creates our bus routes. We're back with them again. And then School Pass is an attendance software that will completely change how we track campers daily and will save our staff an incredible amount of time so they can spend more time with the children, as I said before. And those of you that have been in the office before and know what the bus books are, they're all by hand, they're typed, and it's old school. It's old school. Hey, listen, it worked. It worked. But the idea now is there's so many different systems and software in place that we'll have the bus monitors and bus counselors using their phones or iPads and checking people in checking the children in as they get on the bus, and it'll go directly to the cloud or whatever, and then it'll go into our system. And when they come to camp, it'll get uploaded and we'll know who's there and so on and so forth. And for you, it's not really much of a difference. For us, it's a monumental difference with the amount of time that we will save by using these programs. And it will be clear and concise and clean. Here's our typical day for those of you that don't know. Generally 8 to 8:40. We could have some slightly later pickups between 8:50 and even 9 o'clock. Arrival is between 9 and 9:25. Opening activities, flag raising, MIFCUD between 9:25 and 9:45. And then you get three activities in the morning, lunch, 3 activities in the afternoon, snack, wind down. We load our buses and we depart. Now, some of the things that we'll talk about and you will see in our parent manual, just because it says on your bus tag 8 o'clock for your pickup, doesn't mean that it's going to be 8 o'clock. We have a 10-minute window that we ask you to allow, and that has been the case forever. That's not last year. That's not 2019. That's forever. A 10-minute window, pickup and drop off. There's always reasons why it could be earlier or later. 10 minutes on the front end, 10 minutes on the back end. Swimming, campers 5th grade and younger will swim 2 times a day, instructional and free swim. And campers 6th grade, and then that'll probably be 4 times a day for instructional swim. I think that's what we've always done. And the 5th day is just 2 swims. And then campers 6th grade and older will swim 1 time a day, which will be free swim. And then the support of our campers and staff. And this is important. We've talked about this a few times already. The number 1 job for our staff is to take care of children. Some of the administrative tasks that some of the counselors and unit heads did, we're trying to, as you see, we're trying to change those around a little bit so the staff can do their job and the folks in the office can do their job. We also have 3 camper care staff this year. Last year we had 2, and we're also going to have 1 staff care specialist, all who will work directly with unit heads, counselors, and children, and they'll communicate with you directly and regularly along with the unit heads and the counselors. More information on that as well soon. Moving along to transportation and drop off and pickup. As you know, BT offers door-to-door pickup and drop off, which a lot of camps don't. Some camps do. But that's what we are really very well known for, and we pride ourselves on it. We do everything we can to pick the children up and drop them off at their home or very close to their home if it's a little bit further away from Reisterstown. I'm not sure if that's getting cut off. It looks like it's getting cut off on my screen. Your choice of transportation must be the same both ways, meaning campers cannot ride the bus one way and travel by car the other way, or ride on a bus 2 one way and bus 6 another way. Now, in the event of an emergency, we certainly will change that policy and procedure. And in any situation that you need to call us ahead of time and say, this is a one-time deal and this is why it is, and so on and so forth, we will try to work with you. That is our goal, is to work with you. At the same time, makes it very difficult for us to make changes daily from buses, even though we have our new programming. It makes it more difficult, and we're also still in a place where we want to keep the same people on the same bus coming and going. That is a health safety feature that we want to try to keep in place. Most of you won't have a problem with that. And some of you, if you do have a situation, you'll call us, let us know. As I mentioned, we're going to do everything we can to keep everybody on the same transportation pattern, coming and going. And we'll talk to you about it if you have any specific needs. And as we said, campers are not permitted to ride 2 different buses. Bus pickup generally between 8 and 9. We said 8:40 earlier, but we mentioned 9 o'clock. Bus drop off between 4:20 and 5:30. If you're dropping off at camp, 8:40 a.m. every morning. That's the specific time, 8:40 every day if you're dropping off. And we encourage it if that's what you want. While I will sit here and say that the first piece of the experience for the camp day is the bus, and that will never change. But life changed a little bit for us, and we know that there are other options. If you choose to drive, drop off, pick up, no problem. Parent and driver pickup at camp is at 4 o'clock every day. Just a small note, those of you that picked up last year and will pick up again this year, the buses with the children are going to leave camp first, and then you're going to be welcomed into camp rather than the staff leaving and then you coming in. We switched those a little bit. We want you to get your kids first, and then we will figure, and then our staff will leave. They can be there to say goodbye to the kids, and that'll be it. If you're choosing to drop off and you haven't already told us that, please email Bryna at bryna@btcamps.org. Take a minute to let us know if the address that you have in CampMinder is the address where your child or children will be picked up. We asked this in an email about a month ago. If it isn't, if it is the correct address, do nothing. If it isn't the correct address, please contact the camp, or you can email us, call us, or email us and let us know. It's crucial because we will begin our bus routes next week, next Monday. And those of you that are on this call right now, probably 99% of you are registered for the summer. The folks who are not registered, they have a week to go before we have to close our registration so we can allow for our bus routes to be created. Last year, we didn't do that because it was a year unlike any other. And we weren't going to tell folks at any time that they couldn't sign up. Sign up whenever you want. But now we have to say, listen, we need to get you in by May 1st so we can start the bus routes. And the purpose of that is that as people are signing up, if we're allowing them to come in and telling them that they can get bus service, then we may have already made the bus and now we got to change the whole bus route. And that creates a lot of time. Except if you are willing to say, I will send my child, I will drop off my child and pick up my child, then we'll let you register right away. Otherwise, those folks that aren't registered, they'll have to wait for about 3 weeks until we have the bus routes finalized, and we'll save a few spots in each bus, or at least we'll try to. And then if we can fit them in, we'll fit them in and then get them to register. So if you know anybody that's not signed up, please have them do so immediately. Within the next week, they can go on CampMinder and register. Starting next week, they won't be able to get through CampMinder. It will be shut off and it will say closed. Please call the camp. Bus routes and times. I have a few people who say don't promise any dates, but this is one I gotta promise. I gotta promise this one so we can make sure that you feel comfortable and confident that you have your information. We're saying Wednesday, June 8th. We will send it in the mail. That's not the day you'll get it. That's the day we're going to send it in the mail. And that will be your bus routes, times, luggage tags, all that information. Along with on the attendance, your child's tag is going to be used for the attendance, and your child's tag is going to have a barcode on it. And when they come on, they're just going to do the barcode as they come up with the bus monitor, bus counselor, and it'll go through. So that'll be on there as well. Now, of course, I will say this, that if we run into some trouble, you'll hear about it mid-May, towards the end of May, that we might be a couple days later, but we know that that's the right timing. Regardless, that's the right timing to get all the information out. And we're in a great place this year. So as we talk about safety protocols and procedures, I know that a lot of people are probably wondering where we're at with how things will occur at camp this summer. And it is still April 25th. But if you look at the second paragraph, please know that our plans for the summer will be made in consultation with and following policies and procedures of BT school and congregation, along with the ACA, CDC, and so on and so forth. So policies and procedures that are already in place at BT, we are BT. So the congregation, the school, and the synagogue, the congregation, the school, and the camp are all one. And that's where we are today. Obviously, things could change. We don't know. If you want to see where we were at last summer, as you can see at the bottom, you can go to the website and see what the policies were for 2021, just to get an idea of how we did things. And if you have any further questions, you can certainly email me. If you don't go to BT, if you don't know the policies and procedures there, it's not that I don't want to go over it, but it takes up a lot of time to really manage it. And the number that I see on the chats will double instantly. But I'm more than willing to talk to you about it. American Campus Association, CDC, nurses, doctors, all the folks that are involved in keeping a close eye on the COVID metrics, both locally and within the camp family. When I say camp family, I mean every camp across the country, JCC, Coppermine, all the camps that are in our area, we're all in communication. So when you hear it from one, you'll probably hear the same things from most. With regards to the pods, that was one of our key successes last summer. And all that means is it's the same group of people around each other while eliminating and preventing the introduction of outsiders to that pod. Here's what that means. It really has been the same way for years and years and years. We try to keep the bunk the same. There are a couple of additions and subtractions during the weeks, but generally speaking, we try to bunk everybody and organize everybody based on who's going to be there during the same weeks. So really, that hasn't changed. They will still get to do activities with others. There may be less groups doing activities together than there have been in the past, but at the same time, we know we can do it safely as long as we have all the systems in place. And the bunks will be relatively the same amount of kids. We might be able to fit a few more kids in because we know what we can handle. We know how to move kids around. We were very concerned last year about getting kids into the bunk, cleaning up, and then changing clothes or washing hands or whatever. And we saw there's no change to that. We need the 10 minutes in between, and that's all we need. And that was what allowed us to make some changes in the middle of the summer. So we'll see about continuing to keep the groups together as much as we can, but at the same time allowing camp to continue to be planned and organized the way that it always has. Along with some of those procedures, campers may sign up for packaged lunches, or campers can bring their own lunch, and the packaged lunches are through the Knish shop, and They prepare it, package it, and deliver it directly to camp, where the camper then is the only person to touch the food. And that's a change from previous years, but not a change from last year. Last year, food was dropped off. It was already tagged in a bag, boom, to the kid. And in the past, we had some more involvement with that. Water, we strongly will encourage, again, the water bottles. We're not going to have water. We're not going to have cups for water. We will have cups for drinks at lunch, because we are going to have juice once again at lunch, and not in the juice boxes. We had juice boxes last year, but we believe that we have a good system in place where we can have the cups and the juice boxes the way that we used to do it. But then during the day, you still want your child to have a water bottle, and that's camp. That's camp. That's the way it should be for everybody. Everybody should bring their own water bottle. If you think you lost yours last year, we still have about 25 sitting without any names. So you can call and check in. Staff will help the campers fill their water bottles, and we will have very basic water bottles in our office in case somebody loses them. And I'd probably say we went through a couple, 3 or 4 dozen of those water bottles during the year last year. A few other things: visitors, bunk requests, LT start dates, hand washing, cleaning, disinfecting. Can read that all. Visitors, that's probably one of the things that will has changed, and who knows, but it may not come back in the future. It used to be that parents could come and kind of sneak in and take a look, and it's not really a camp thing to begin with, but it was at BT, and it is actually at some other camps, but we had to get rid of that, and we continue to get rid of that. You can only come to when you pick up your child, and you'll be greeted at the gate, and then we'll bring your child to you. Of course, in the unlikely case of any emergency, you'll be into camp. Hand washing, cleaning, disinfecting, a lot of that is still the same. "33 minutes, that's, I didn't expect that, but that's a good thing, I guess. I would say, does anybody have any questions? But I cannot answer them. The panelists, the hosts, I would say, Rachel and Emily and Bryna will continue to answer the questions, and I will answer them as well here in the next 20 to 30 minutes. A couple of things that I'll leave you with. When we started with the list of the staff, I want to say 2 things about the staff. First of all, I think I said this before, but we are very lucky to have all these folks who have decided to come back to camp through many years to continue the spirit of BT camps. It means a lot to a lot of people in our community, and without many of these folks, or really all of them, who have the BT feeling in them, it goes a long way, and we could be in a totally different place and not have anybody who wants to return and really showing any interest in being a camp. They do it for themselves, they do it for the children, they do it for the staff, and that's important. The other piece is we're very lucky to have been able to put together a semi-full-time staff. When we talk about Rachel and Emily and Bryna, and also Larry Brash and Gary and Jen Postal, we're talking about folks who are really behind the scenes, who don't need accolades, but are really making sure that the experience that the kids are getting and the staff are getting is top notch. They have also been very instrumental, those folks and our unit heads, department heads, and some of our general staff, counselors and teachers. They've been helping recruit new staff. We're well on our way. I don't want to say whether we're in a bad place or a good place. I think we're in a decent place, to be honest with you, with regards to hiring and how many spots we have remaining. We upped the ante a little bit. We put everybody in a good place to work at BT Camps. We made it enjoyable. We're changing some policies and procedures to make the staff happy to stay and not glad to leave. And that's something that I use as a line with my staff year after year. And if you think about it, we want everybody to stay. We don't want anybody to think, I want to get out of here. At the end of the summer, you may be a little bit ready to get out, but at the same time, you want to come back. And we're very lucky to have the support that we have in place, especially from the folks who are helping tonight, Larry, Gary, Jen, and then all the head staff who are going to help run camp this summer. That's it, folks. I think we've covered it all, and I wanted everybody to get a real good feeling. We will do several things. One, continue to answer questions. Two, if you have questions afterwards, please feel free to email me, and continue that throughout the next week and into May. And then we will get some information out about the new app and some of the other software that we'll be using to make the experience as great as we can for the summer of 2022 and beyond. I appreciate your time and coming out to spend some moments with us as we talk about all of our favorite places and all of our children's favorite places, which is BT Camps. Thanks very much, everybody. Shalom.